You know, Martin, that's a good question. What exactly is Tier 1? So Tier 1 and at Clubhouse RE represents an agent who has done 0 to 4 transactions, done 0 to $1 million in production. So why do we call that Tier 1? Because we wanted to find a quick, easy way to identify what our agents are doing and where they are in the process. So what happens with Tier 1? What is the experience of an agent Tier 1? They're either somebody who's brand new to the business, just getting their feet in, just starting to understand, or they are an experienced agent, maybe kickstarting their business because they fell off, they slowed down, etc. But either way, they all need to accomplish the same thing. They need to go out and meet people. They need to go out and they need to build relationships. And then they need to figure out how to lead generate, what type of lead generation are they going to do. So all of those things are Tier 1 activities. So in Tier 1, we meet with our agents the most frequently. In Tier 1, every Tuesday evening, 7 to 8 p.m., I have a Zoom. And I'm on there every single Tuesday with those agents, helping them to time block, helping them to lead generate, helping them to get started in their CRM, launch all of their EXP tools, launch all their Clubhouse RE tools. And look, let's face it, many Tier 1 agents need help just understanding the forms and the documents. So on Mondays, 1 o'clock, we have document training for those agents. So they can begin to understand, they can bring their real life scenario. Hey, I need to write this offer. Hey, I need to do this listing contract. Or they can bring their hypothetical just to understand, when I get this buyer, what do I do first? But everything around Tier 1 is focused on helping somebody launch or relaunch their business, helping them get those activities, the positive things going in the right direction. Last night was a Tier 1 meeting. We talked extensively about time blocking. I am a big time blocker because I love to have my schedule organized. I love to be able to refer to it. Give you an example. This morning, I have my chiropractor in there every other Wednesday. And this morning I was at the chiropractor, and he said, hey, I'll be out of town not next Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. So I just went there and deleted it. Now I don't have to worry about that appointment. I don't have to think about it, etc. But I gave another great example for the agents in Tier 1. You're going to take a vacation. If you've time blocked and you have your schedule all laid out, all of your appointments that are important to you are in your calendar. So when I go out of town or I travel, I'm able to go to that week and click on the appointment, chiropractor. Send the text to the chiropractor, I'll be out, I will not be at my appointment on this week. Delete that appointment. Cold calling, prospecting, whatever it is, I can delete it. Or I can move it to another date to make up for it, like double down on a different date to make up for the loss. But if everything's in my schedule, it allows me to go through, communicate that I need to cancel something because I'm going to be traveling or I have some other obligation. It allows me to move things around without me having to remember every activity. So, because where the fail point is when we put all the emphasis in our brain and we have to follow and track all that mentally, and we don't have it in black and white. It's not on our calendar. So time blocking was a very extensive conversation. And one of the things I encourage the agents is to just start. Somebody shared with me last night that their failures with time blocking, and I said, why haven't you started? And they said, well, you know, I've done this with my kids, and I've done this with my family, and this, and every time I sit down, I'm like, but that's what time blocking is. Start with what are non-negotiable. If your family time, your child time, your religious time, your spiritual time, whatever it may be, if that's non-negotiable, start with that. Put in what is nearest and dearest and most important in your world in there. And then begin to fill out the rest. Because until you block the schedule based on your real live activities, if you have to take your child to school, my children went to a school where there was no school bus. There was no choice. I either took them or they didn't go. It's about a 9-mile walk. Wasn't going to happen. So I was either taking them or they weren't going. That time to take them was blocked. It was time blocked in my calendar because there wasn't anything I could do about it. Now, if there was exceptions, hey, I have an appointment, or I have somebody that's requesting a time or this or that, then my wife could fill in. I could ask her, hey, babe, can you cover on this particular date? But when I go to look at my calendar, I don't have to think, oh, geez, I have this buyer who's asking to do something. I better check my calendar. So when I check my calendar, if I haven't time blocked, then I got to remember that I need to take the kids to school. I need to remember all of the various activities. So start with what's most important to you and then go from there. If you do that, your schedule will be great. So that's a key component for a new agent, is getting that schedule, beginning to understand this quote unquote real estate lifestyle. Because I tell people all the time, this isn't a job, this isn't a career, it's a lifestyle. Because you have to figure out how to intertwine your life with the needs and the real estate life that your clients, the needs of your clients and what they want, so that you can work these harmoniously. And you got to start out by blocking what's most important to you in your life and critical. So, Tier 1 agents, figuring out time, figuring out your schedule, generating leads, figuring out what lead source is good for you. One of the things that we're really recommending a lot is open houses, because consumers are going back to these open houses and really enjoying them. So we're really pressing for our agents to do open houses. So lead generation, understanding the forms, starting to get in front of those processes and procedures. Lots and lots of training, figuring out what part of this business you really like and what you're going to go for. There's a lot of discovery in Tier 1. Pairing our group together so that they're all working and sharing with one another is worth so much. We had a brand new agent just joined us yesterday and joined the Tier 1 group yesterday. And she was on the Zoom. And she was excited about hearing all the energy and the enthusiasm with 19 agents on this Zoom and all sharing with one another what's going on. And somebody said, hey, I've got an open house, can anybody hold it open, etc. But getting those people tiered together so that they're working together to help each other, that is money. Next time we get together, we'll talk about Tier 2 and what does it look like for a Tier 2 agent. Martin, I guess he's fallen asleep on me, but we'll hopefully that you too didn't fall asleep. I'm Jimmy Dulin with Clubhouse RE, and I hope you enjoyed the conversation.